All right, Bill King's with us from Nashville Sports Radio, the king of college football talk. And, Bill, we have games to talk about that were not from week 0 from last week, but the thing we got to get in on first, of course, is Arkansas versus Texas. This would be maybe one of the only times that everybody in the SEC will be rooting for the Razorbacks, because I feel like everybody in the SEC's got a negative view of Texas. Heck, the other 49 states kind of have that view on Texas. So when you look at this matchup, and not historically, but when you're looking at these two teams, what you might have seen from their wins on Saturday, Texas is favored, and I think there's good reason why. The prevailing thought is that Arkansas's got maybe more than a puncher's chance to pull off what Vegas would view as an upset.
I think it's a relatively even matchup, more so than we would have said a couple of years ago, right? And I thought Texas was very solid in their opener against a good Louisiana team. Very solid. They looked a little more confident. The leadership, you could tell, was better. And they just looked like a pretty well-coached football team that did the fundamental things right. You don't always get that out of it historically since, let's just go 2010 till now. So I think Arkansas is getting one of the better Texas teams the last couple of years, and I think they could stand head-to-head with them. I do.
Well, and certainly they're getting one of the better coached Texas teams. You would assume. Let's just go into Steve Sarkisian here and his ability as an offensive coordinator and catch defenses off guard, unbalance the line, got a wheel route. Robinson was wide open against Louisiana, but he's facing a good friend here in Barry Odom. Of coordinator can be pretty wily, and he's got a deeper defense. He can do more things, and the coaching matchup. This to me might be one of the best coaching matchups of offensive mind versus defensive mind in the country. Now, and last year, it was Sark with Alabama. The personnel was just way too good for Arkansas to hang. It's different this time around. I think Coach Odom can more than hang with Coach Sark.
I do too. I think it's going to be a very good game, decided like fun games are in the fourth quarter. I don't know if it's going to be a spectacular big play game unless there are huge mistakes made. But I'm looking forward to it. And again, I know we're not going back, but one of my first memories as just a basic kindergartner was that '69 Arkansas-Texas game.
Mm-hmm.
That's clear memories. That's when you had like one channel. Every TV had one or two channels.
Now let me ask you just for a moment about these two schools, which is getting kicked up again. Arkansas does make a return trip, and then they'll be in the same league. When you look through the history of college football, there are some outstanding rivalries, some that don't even get played anymore, like Oklahoma and Nebraska. Where in your mind does the Arkansas-Texas Southwest Conference rivalry, I'm not asking you for a ranking, but, that's one of the more well-known rivalries of its era.
Same with Oklahoma and Nebraska at a time. Incredible rivalry. Back in the day, obviously no longer because of conference affiliation. Yeah, and it's going to get resuscitated here. Now, many folks probably in this audience that are college football fans won't know this, but they're going to get the revival of Arkansas at Texas. They're going to get the revival of Texas A&M too, which is more recent, as we know. But it was a heck of a matchup, and I remember it, some of the famous games. I have vivid memories. And let me also see this. Your audience probably don't allow Arkansas to be a bigger brand than the others.
Bill, I don't think you ever hear, anybody didn't believe anything you said, because there's a big mentality of Arkansas versus SEC, Arkansas versus ESPN. It has that type of mentality where they think and they know that people don't respect them as much as they should. So I don't think you offended or lost anybody listening to us right now, but something that's going to be great this weekend. You got to have the flip side of the coin in all of sports. There's a great, and then there's really bad. And I want to know which one was worse and more embarrassing. Is it the ETSU loss over Vandy, or is it UConn's loss to Holy Cross and Randy Edsall now deciding he's not going to wait till the end of the season? He's just calling it quits now. Which one's more embarrassing for the program?
I think Connecticut. They didn't even play a year ago, thinking they were doing something brilliant. didn't play a lick of football. Just canceled it. It's a terrible program anyway. It used to be pretty good before he left and then came back. And now it's at the very bottom, and it's got nowhere to go. I think that one's – Connecticut football is an embarrassment. I could have told – not that anybody really wants to listen about Vanderbilt football, but I could have told you that roster, even by Vanderbilt's historic, at least since Dan McGugan, historic low level of football, decade after half century, etc. This roster, guys, is even bad by their standards. It's down by Vandy standards. I didn't think ETSU and former longtime ball assistant and player Randy Sanders would go in there and beat him by 20, but I'm not shocked at Vanderbilt productivity at all. And Clark Lee, I think that's a pretty good hire. He's got a long road to get them back to wherever.
He definitely does, but at least for the time being, it sounds like Vandy might actually make a good college try as far as facilities and investment. Another team that feels in the SEC that feels like season could possibly be over is LSU. Were you that high on UCLA? I really wasn't. I didn't think that was going to be the outcome. Turn it around.
Very clear game, guys. Now again, outcome maybe not, but much better personnel at LSU, much better coaching at UCLA. That was the matchup, and we saw what won out. It's becoming more and more evident that 2019 was, yes, a phenomenal year, but a total lightning in a bottle moment for Coach O. Coach O is a mediocre head coach at best, except that one resume, which you can't take. That's legit. It was a heck of a team, heck of a year. But outside of that, I don't know if he's got. I think things are shaky down there right now. That's the most unhappy fan base in America. It's not. There's not a close number two, and they ought to be unhappy right now. So I don't have a lot of faith in the rest of this year, unless the talent just takes over. But they're not well coached at all.
I thought the best joke of the weekend was Coach O made fun of Sissy Blue and then went into the locker room and put on purple. It's like, okay, have a lot of fun with that.
That little quip that we already got it on our show, and it pops up from time to time, is funny if you back it up. It's not funny at all when you go out and get one.
Bill, so the AP poll after week one, what does it mean? But here's what it means. Alabama and Georgia, right now, it feels like they might be light years ahead. I liked Ohio State offensively. They might have a little issue here and there defensively. OU, you're going to be nervous with such a tight game against Tulane in their own stadium. A&M had some shaky moments early against Kent State. Clemson obviously didn't look very good. It seems that at least offensively, maybe defensively, Alabama separated themselves, and certainly Georgia did defensively.
Georgia's good enough defensively, and they don't play Alabama regular season. That they can grow offensively. They're going to get a few receivers back. Dominic Blaylock is coming off 2 knee injuries. And there's talk that by far their best receiver, George Pickens, may be ahead of schedule and maybe a couple of weeks away, which is a little bit of a surprise, if indeed that's true. Darnell Big Ty's not played. He's a 6'7", 270 pounder who's an incredible talent there. Yeah. Now, again, offensively, they're not nearly as built out as Alabama. They don't have the weaponry. They don't have the balance. But, again, they've got a defense to allow them to grow. And, guys, not that you get to win every game, but they're going to be favored in every game they play. The only game they were an underdog in was the Clemson game.
Yeah, you're right. I want to ask you about, and this might be the best game of the weekend. You could look at Iowa State, Oregon visiting the Horseshoe against Ohio State. Now, the Pac-12 after USC, maybe UCLA, though you wouldn't expect, but Oregon still feels like that has a chance to be the class of the Pac-12 and win over Ohio State in a position where the Pac-12 hadn't had anybody in the playoff for so long. But I don't know. I wouldn't expect C.J. Stroud to struggle like he did early against Wisconsin at home.
No, and the best defensive end and maybe the top pick in the draft, Kayvon Thibodeau, was out with an injury, and that's a huge blow for Oregon. Yeah, I think Ohio State is a significant favorite here. I haven't looked at the line today, but their offense is very very explosive. They're better at running back this year. They got the number one running back in America out of high schools there. He's the third teamer. The other two in front of him are pretty good, and they're both about 225. They've got the deepest receiving core in America. Tackle to tackle, they may be the best offensive line. And they're just trying to get game reps out of their quarterback, Stroud. And when that solidifies, that offense is going to even be better. Now, guys, the other side, though, Kerry Combs, who's their defensive coordinator, and had been there before and then came to the Titans, went back. Jury's out on him. Defense did not play well a year ago, did not play all that well in the Minnesota game either. And that is a question. They've got personnel, but right now they do not play with confidence. And that's the negative for them. They may give up some points here, guys, but they're going to score a ton. It won't matter in this game.
Billy, appreciate you, man. As always, enjoy football this weekend. We'll get into it again next Wednesday.
Appreciate it, Bill.
Okay.
It's that time of the year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all of the pro and college football action this season. Get all of the updated odds, props, and contests, including the online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest, the world's largest 200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Here's what you have to do. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus. Take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager's going to be refunded for up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using the promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.